The bustling market in Lagos never slept. It was a maze of shouting vendors, desperate customers, and the ever-present honking of yellow buses. In the middle of the chaos, Lola adjusted the basket of vegetables on her stall, wiping the sweat from her brow. She barely had time to rest before the next customer barged in, demanding fresh tomatoes. Her mind, however, wasn't in the market. It was on her baby, Junior. He was only 6 months old, fragile and innocent, but she had no choice but to leave him with a babysitter while she worked. Life in Lagos was unforgiving, and with her husband gone, she was all Junior had. "I can take care of your baby for cheap," Auntie Moreo had said one evening as Lola walked home with her son strapped to her back. "I have experience, and you won't have to worry." First, Lola had hesitated. The woman was a neighbor, living just 3 houses down, but something about her was off. She was too eager, too persistent. Still, with no affordable alternative, Lola had agreed. Now, as she handed change to a customer, an uneasy feeling settled in her chest. Was Junior okay? She didn't know then, but the decision she had made would soon turn her world into a nightmare. Lola hurried home as soon as the market slowed for the evening. Her heart pounded with every step. Junior had been with Auntie Moreo for over 10 hours. The streets were growing darker, the distant sounds of generators humming in the background. When she reached Moreo's house, the woman greeted her with a wide grin. "He's a good baby," she said, handing Junior over. "No trouble at all." Lola cradled him, pressing his tiny body against hers. He felt warm, too warm. "Why is he so hot?" she asked, frowning. Babies are always warm," Moreo dismissed with a wave of her hand. "Don't worry yourself." Lola wasn't convinced, but she didn't want to argue. She hurried home, bathed Junior, and gave him some baby food. He was unusually quiet, barely making a sound. As she laid him down to sleep, she whispered, "Tomorrow will be better, my love." But tomorrow would only bring more questions. The next morning, Lola was already running late when she noticed something strange. Junior hadn't cried for his morning feeding. He always woke up hungry. She rushed to his crib and gasped. His small body was burning up, his face pale. Fear shot through her like lightning. "Junior, wake up, my baby." His eyelids fluttered, but his response was weak. Lola's heart pounded as she quickly dressed him. She had no money for a hospital visit, but she would find a way. Still, she had no choice but to take him to Auntie Moreo again. "He's sick," Lola said urgently, placing Junior in her arms. "Please take care of him today. I'll bring medicine after work." Moreo's smile didn't waver. "Don't worry, I know how to care for babies. Go to work." Lola hesitated, but time was against her. She forced herself to leave, but the uneasy feeling followed her all day. Throughout the day, Lola's mind refused to rest. Every time a customer handed her money, she imagined Junior's tiny body, burning up with fever. As soon as the market closed, she rushed to the pharmacy, using almost all her earnings to buy baby medicine. When she reached Moreo's house, she nearly collapsed from exhaustion. "How is he?" she asked, breathless. Moreo smiled as she handed Junior back. "He slept all day." Lola frowned. Junior had never been one to sleep so much. She pressed the medicine dropper to his lips, but he barely responded. Something was wrong. Very wrong. That night, Lola sat beside Junior, watching his slow, uneven breaths. The fever had gone down slightly, but his skin was still damp with sweat. She replayed the past few days in her mind. Junior had been healthy before she left him with Moreo. Could something be happening to him in that house? The thought sent a shiver down her spine. She needed to find out the truth. And so, the next morning, she made a decision. She would leave Junior with Moreo again. But this time she wouldn't go to the market. She would stay behind and watch. She had no idea that what she would discover would change everything. Lola's hands trembled as she handed Junior to Auntie Moreo that morning. "Please take care of him," she said, forcing a smile. "Of course," Moreo replied, flashing her usual grin. You worry too much, my dear. Lola nodded but didn't walk away. Instead, she turned into a narrow alley beside the house, crouching behind an old wooden fence. Her heart pounded as she peeked through a gap. First, everything seemed normal. Moreo carried Junior inside, humming a tune. But then, something strange happened. She locked the front door, pulled the curtains shut, and disappeared into the back room with Junior in her arms. Lola's stomach clenched. What was she doing? She waited, ears straining for any sound. Then she heard it. A soft, eerie chant like someone reciting old incantations. Cold fear gripped her spine. What was happening in that house? Lola's breath came in short gasps as she edged closer to the window. Through a tiny opening, she saw Moreo standing in the dimly lit room, holding Junior over a small clay pot. A thick, black substance burned inside, sending wisps of smoke into the air. Moreo's lips moved rapidly, whispering words Lola couldn't understand. Then, she dipped her fingers into a small bowl of dark liquid and traced strange patterns on Junior's tiny forehead. Lola clamped a hand over her mouth to stop a scream. Her son's sickness. Was it because of this? Tears streamed down her face as she realized the horrifying truth. Junior wasn't just sick. He was being used for something sinister. She had to act fast. Lola's body moved before her mind could catch up. She ran to the front door and pounded on it. "Open this door, Moreo," she screamed. "What are you doing to my child?" For a moment there was silence. Then the door creaked open and Moreo stepped out, her face calm. "Come. What is the meaning of this, Lola?" she asked, her voice smooth as silk. "Give me my son." Lola's voice was raw with fury. Moreo chuckled. "You're overreacting. I was only protecting him. You don't understand these things." Lola didn't wait to argue. She pushed past Moreo, grabbed Junior from the room and ran. The child whimpered weakly in her arms, his little body still warm. She knew one thing for certain: she would never bring him back here again. At home, Lola rocked Junior, pressing him close. "I'm sorry, my love," she whispered. "I should have never left you with her." But she needed to know the full truth. What had Moreo been doing to him? She rushed to the elderly woman who lived across the street, Mama Ngozi. The old woman had seen many things in her lifetime. Maybe she would know. After listening to Lola's story, Mama Ngozi's face darkened. "You were wise to take your child away," she said. "That woman is no ordinary babysitter." Mama Ngozi sighed. "She is known for her charms and potions. Some say she uses children to make her rituals stronger." Lola felt the blood drain from her face. She had almost lost her child to something far worse than neglect. The neighborhood men forced their way into Moreo's house. What they found inside confirmed everyone's worst fears: ritual items, strange charms, and children's clothes that didn't belong to Junior. Moreo tried to run, but she was caught. As she was dragged away, she glared at Lola. "You don't know what you've done," she spat. But Lola didn't care. She held Junior tightly. For the first time in weeks, he looked up at her and smiled. She had saved her son. But the nightmares would never leave her.